Good morning, students. It is the 16th of December, just 5 short days before Christmas, or excuse me, holiday break, winter break. Okay. And today, last time on Friday, we talked about ancient Athens, what education was like there, the roles of women, and men and citizens, some of how democracy developed. We also talked about ancient Sparta, how their young men were trained, what their women were expected to do, and what a day in the life looked like basically for ancient Sparta. Today, we are going to start in on the Persian Wars. That is the wars between the ancient Persian Empire and the Greek, well, not Greek Empire yet, but the Greeks. Okay, so you can see here, we've got Thrace, Macedonia, Greece. Okay, those are all parts of ancient Greece. You have Ionia right here. That's the very first spot, part of Greece conquered by the Persians in about 546 BC. Okay, so you can see how massive the empire is, right? It covers Egypt, modern-day Turkey, most of the Middle East with the exception of Saudi Arabia. It covers part of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, right? It stretches. It's a large empire. And it's a fairly stable empire, I believe. A majority of the people, so one of the things that Darius and Xerxes, one of the things that they push is tolerance. Okay, they do want power, and they want to make sure that people are following their kingship, right? However, as long as they did, right, as long as they followed their kingship, they were totally like, okay, that's cool. You can practice your culture, your religion, and whatnot, as long as it's not going to upset our kingdom. You can do those things. Okay, so with that said, let's check out the slides for today. All right, so as I said before, they settled. Well, we're going to start here. Persia invades. Okay, and this is going to be mainland Greece, not Ionia, because I just talked to you about Ionia. So the biggest fear for Greeks is Persian invasion. It's not a Helot uprising or slave uprising. It's not fighting between each other. It is Persian invasion, which makes sense because Persia is so freaking huge, right? So let's take a look here. We'll take a look in just a second. You guys can see, according to my slides here, that the Greeks, basically, they had a new type of army, okay? They knew they were trying to prepare for the Persians to come, all right? So during the time period the Greek was developing, we went from the Bronze Age to the Iron Age, okay? If you know anything about bronze and iron is way stronger than bronze, okay? It's also cheaper, okay, in this time period. There's more of it, okay? So because it's cheaper, because there's more of it, more people are able to be in the army. They can fashion their own armor or get it fashioned fairly cheap. Okay, more people can have armor and weapons. Okay, so the military goes from not just rich people, but it goes from rich people, just rich people, to all citizens. Okay, they also have hoplites. Okay, and there's an example of a hoplite up there in the right-hand corner of the screen. Now, hoplites, you can see they don't have a ton of armor. They've got a light shield. It's not super heavy. They carry a short sword, which you can't exactly, you might be able to see the end of it right there. Okay, so they carry a short sword, and then they've got a long spear. Okay, and that spear is like at least twice their body length. Okay. In hoplites, basically, all right, if you take a look down here, hoplites, if you can see, they stand side by side, okay, and they've got their super long spears. That protects against cavalry charge. It keeps the bad guys at arm's length, okay? And the shields protect each other. Okay, they line up side by side. Their shields are next to each other, so their bodies are protected pretty good. Okay, it's a new kind of army. They're super light, hoplite, right? It kind of makes sense. The Persians aren't going to be ready for this, okay, when it comes time. All right, so after conquering Ionia, which is over here, you can't see it, but that's like where Troy was, if you guys remember talking about ancient Troy, okay? Let me get to the page that I actually talk about that. Okay, so we've got the Battle of Marathon to start with, okay? What happens to provoke the Persians, okay? During King Darius's rule, King Darius the Great, the Ionians revolt, okay? They don't like the fact that the Persians are in their territory, all right? So they revolt, they rise up, all right? Athens actually sends ships to help out her fellow Greeks. Well, the revolt is put down, all right? And man, I tell you that Darius he's upset that the Athenians helped out the Ionians. Okay, so he vows that someday he is going to destroy Athens. Okay, so 490 BC, Darius lands with 25 men on the plain of Marathon, right up here. Okay, and that's where a huge battle is going to take place. 25,000 men. 10,000 Athenian soldiers, Athenian hoplites, okay? Now, the Persian army, they're weighed down a lot more. They're heavier. They're not as quick, okay? So, basically, it's going to be a massacre for, they're also not used to this fighting style. So, it's a massacre, okay? Let's see here. 10,000, let's see. 6,000 Persians are killed. 200 Greeks are killed. That is amazing, right? I think part of that is chaos. Now, the problem with having a battle on the plains of Marathon, right here, right? The problem with that is it leaves, remember city-states, they don't have a ton of people? So 10,000 people, that's going to be a very large majority of the population, okay? And it totally leaves Greece, or Athens, I should say, unguarded. So this is what happens, okay? The army leaders, after the defeat, and Persia is retreating, the army leaders choose a young runner, his name is Phidippides, to race back to Athens, tell them to fight if attacked because the army was successful. So this dude runs 26 miles, delivers the message, rejoice, we conquer, then he died. Okay, the Athenian army got back to the fortified city. When Persian fleet showed up, they saw the city heavily defended and they retreated again. Okay, so it really wasn't all that big of a deal. Okay, so that was the battle. Okay, today they recreate this whole thing. All right, so if you look here down in the corner, I'll try and get that. According to experts in Greek history, Phidippides ran from Athens to Sparta, then from there back to Athens. Modern legend says he only ran from Marathon to Athens. However, these last 25 miles are assigned to another messenger in the annals of ancient Greece. That's why they say he didn't run so far. But that's also probably why the dude died, is because he actually ran from Athens to Sparta, and he was running there to ask them for help. Okay, they actually have the Spartathlon, today, which is a mega race, recreating that. But that is also the 26 miles. That's where we come up with the term marathon for today's runs. All right, so the Battle of Thermopylae. Okay. Now at this point, we're probably 10, 15 minutes into class. But we're going to watch a little bit of this. All right, so hopefully this... Ooh, this is not going to be good. Oh, maybe it will. Maybe it'll be okay. I'll try and hold it still.
This is Thermopylae, on the coast of mainland Greece. I'm Matthew Settle. In August 480 480 BC. A Greek army of only 7,000 men, led by King Leonidas and 300 Spartans, fought here against the 250,000-strong invasion force, led by Xerxes, the king of Persia. At stake, the future of Greek civilization.
480 BC, Xerxes crossed the Hellespont and moved his army down through northern Greece. The Persian fleet sailed along the coast. City after city fell, but Xerxes' goal was Athens. The Greeks had to stop him at all costs. They had to do it here, at Thermopylae.
The Greek army led by King Leonidas and 300 Spartans was facing a Persian army of a quarter of a million men.
The Persian king Xerxes watched in disbelief as 700 Greek troops formed up in the mountains.
August 480 BC. The Spartans had held the pass of Thermopylae for nearly a day and a half. Xerxes had failed to crack their defense. Now he gambled everything by sending in his own personal guard, the Immortals.
Rank after rank, the elite shock troops fell in the dust. Nothing could shake the Spartans. Xerxes needed a miracle. Came from an unexpected source.
A Greek trader, Ephialtes, seeing a chance to get rich quick, crossed over to the Persian camp. He told Xerxes about a pathway that wound around the mountainside and came out behind the Spartans.
Under cover of darkness, the Persians filed up the track, and on the morning of day 3, emerged behind the Spartans. Leonidas had been outflanked.
He knew this would be his last battle. To avoid unnecessary casualties, he sent the rest of the Greek army home.
The Spartans would stand alone. As the battle recommenced, the Persians closed in from both sides, a tiny band of Spartan survivors. The Spartans with nothing to lose fought like demons. The Persians suffered heavy losses.
Then Leonidas fell. His Spartan soldiers rushed forward to save his body from capture and mutilation. Xerxes now decided to bring this battle to a quick end.
They tried to fight soldier to soldier, in tradition of his Persian ancestors, but he could not break his weapons. He had lost nearly 10,000 men, including 2 of his own brothers. Besides,
Okay. Basically, the Battle of Thermopylae, you have 300 Greeks led by King Leonidas, and then you have 7,000 other Greeks, or 6,000 or so other Greeks who came and joined. They were able to hold the pass because it was such a tiny, just a small, tiny area. They were able to hold it pretty easily until someone was a traitor. This guy, Ephialtes, he was a traitor. He basically came to Xerxes and said, "Hey, dude, this is what's up. There's a goat path you can get around behind the Greeks." So he did this, and that was pretty much the end of the Spartans, because if you're surrounded by all sides, you can't use your shield defense and so on and so forth to help protect yourself. Okay, so, but that's not the whole war. Okay, that is not the whole war by far. Okay. Let's see here. 480 BC, Xerxes gathers a massive invasion force, somewhere possibly about 150,000 army and navy. Okay, the Greeks are divided. All right, and if you've seen the movie 300, you know this, right? The Greeks are divided on what to do. Okay, some agreed to fight the Persians. Others thought it was wiser to let Xerxes destroy Athens and return home. Okay. There are some problems with that, though, because Athens is one of the most prosperous of the city-states, if you think about that. Okay. Some Greeks fight for the Persians. Dude, seriously, you fight against your people. Although, if you think about it, during the War of Independence in the United States, some colonists straight up, turned their back on their own brothers and sisters and fought for the British against the American colonies. Xerxes' army met no real resistance as it moved down eastern Greece. Okay, that's when we get the hot gates. That's when we get the battle of Thermopylae and the Spartans finally saying, okay, we've got to do something. We can't just sit here and do nothing. Okay, the lights turned off in the classroom, so I haven't been able to get them back on. All right. While the Spartans and some other Greeks, I think the Achaeans, are fighting at Thermopylae, okay, the Athenians are trying to figure out how to defend their city. Okay, so this dude, Themistocles is an Athenian leader. He convinces the Athenians to evacuate the city and fight at sea. Okay, pretty sure I don't have... Right? It makes much more sense. Let's take the battle to a place where we are experts. Okay, we may not have as big a fleet, but we're the experts here. Okay, he was pretty convinced that he would be able to defeat the Persians this way. Okay, so he convinces the Athenians to evacuate the city and fight at sea. He positions his fleet in a narrow channel near the island of Salamis. Okay, let's see if I have... No, not yet. Xerxes sets fire to Athens. He sends warships to block both ends of the channel. Okay, the channel's super narrow for Greek ships to turn. Okay, Greek ships are a lot smaller, a lot more maneuverable. Okay, the battle, they just completely cremate the Persians. Okay, Persians lose 1/3 of their fleet. About 479 BC, the Greeks beat Xerxes at the Battle of Plataea. The following year, the Delian League is founded. The Delian League presses the attack against the Persians and drives them from Greek territories. What's that? Okay. So what I would like you guys to do is get out your DQ notebooks, okay? And then I want you to talk with your shoulder partner or someone, the person at your table, or if you're by yourself, talk with someone else, okay? And explain what were the consequences of the Persian Wars. I want you to think about it. What were the consequences for Persia? What were the consequences for the Greeks, okay? And then think about this. How did Athens benefit from the Persian Wars? All right? Just discuss it with each other, and then discuss it, try and discuss it with another table after that. But write your answers down in your DQ notebook so I can check those out and just see where we went, okay? Tomorrow we are going to discuss Greece's golden age, all right? And this is going to be the time period where Greece flourishes the most. They're going to grow they're going to grow a lot culturally, technologically, okay, artistically, all kinds of things like that. All right. So, if you didn't get something today, if I went too quickly, please go back and watch what you missed. Thank you.